Good evening. This is part 3 of semiconductor, and in this session we'll talk about the biasing that you can apply to a semiconductor diode. Now in the previous session we discussed about the PN junction. A PN junction, a normal PN junction, which we discussed as this, okay? You have the P type and the N type. You have doped one side with the trivalent impurity and the other side you have doped with the pentavalent impurity, and you have now a PN junction. In the previous session we already discussed about the diffusion current and the drift current, the two processes that take place in a PN junction during the formation of a PN junction, which is the diffusion and the drift. The diffusion current due to the majority carrier and the drift current due to the minority carrier. And this PN junction is what you call as a semiconductor diode, which will be provided with two terminals where you can connect it to an external circuit. So this is a semiconductor diode, and you have a symbol for the semiconductor diode. It's the symbol for a diode is this, okay? Now this triangle that we have here represents the P side, the P type, and this line we have the N type. Now when we discussed in our previous session, we discussed that here we have immobile positive ions and here we have immobile negative ions, so that your electric field is directed in this direction. So your electric field is in this direction from N to P always, and the potential barrier that exists at the junction, this potential barrier which we call V0, this potential barrier is actually favorable to the drift current. That is, if you have a large electric field, then the minority carriers will be, because your minority carriers are here and the holes are the minority carrier on the N side. So because your electric field is in this direction, you know this, if electric field is in this direction, electrons will move opposite to the electric field. So it is the minority carriers that will cross the junction when there is a large electric field or when the potential barrier is high. If it is a low electric field, that is before the formation of this potential barrier, if the potential barrier is less, then you know that it will be the diffusion current, that is the majority carriers that cross the junction. So you need to keep in mind that if you have a small potential barrier, then smaller electric field, then it will be the majority carriers that are crossing over. That is the electrons from here crossing over to N side to P and the holes from the P side crossing over to the N side. But if you have a large potential barrier, or if the potential across this barrier is large, then it means that it is the drift current or the minority carriers that are crossing the junction. So this is the symbol for a semiconductor diode, a triangle representing the P side and the line representing the N side. Okay. Also now we are first going to discuss forward biasing. This is forward biasing. Okay. Now if you connect your semiconductor diode, this is a P and this is the N side, such a manner that the P side is connected to the positive of the supply and the N side is connected to the negative of the supply. So P to P and N to N. Now potential barrier is in this direction, right? This is the N side, this is the P side. You know that the electric field is from N to P. The applied voltage is applied in an opposite direction. You will see that the applied voltage, this is a positive and this is a negative. So you will see that the potential barrier and the applied voltage are opposite in direction, so that the net voltage across the barrier will now become V0 minus V. So I hope you remember that in our previous session we had drawn, I have drawn the potential barrier for you. Okay, so this is the potential barrier V0, okay, across the P and N sides. Now on the application of an external voltage which is opposite to the potential barrier, the net potential across the barrier decreases and you will see that this will now be something lesser. So that this whole thing is V0, but this much will become V0 minus V. So by applying such a forward bias, what are you doing to the potential barrier? It is decreasing. And you know, as a potential barrier decreases or the potential across the barrier decreases, it is favorable to the crossing over of majority carriers. So there will be a diffusion current, and as you go on increasing the applied voltage, at some point when the two become equal, then you will see that the potential barrier is so negligible or small that you will have a large diffusion current across the junction. So what you will have here now is, so if you have a, let's represent current here in milliamperes, because the diffusion current is due to majority carriers and it will be a large value, so represented in milliamperes, and the voltage here you will see up to around 0.7 volt. That is for silicon semiconductor, the the potential barrier is around 0.7 volt. If it's germanium, it will be around 0.3. So the potential across the barrier is now V0 minus V. So at around 0, when you have applied a potential of around 0.7 volt, that becomes equal to the potential barrier, and you will see that there will be a large crossing over of majority carriers, and because of this majority carrier, you will have a large diffusion current, and this voltage at which you have a large diffusion current across the junction is what you call as the threshold voltage or knee voltage. It is called the threshold voltage or the knee voltage. Voltage at which you have a large diffusion current. Okay. Now, so in the semiconductor, what's happening here is we have the, let's say, P side here and the N side here. And when there is no potential, when you have applied an external voltage such that the potential barrier is small, you have a crossing over of majority carriers. So electrons from here cross over to the P side to combine with the hole, and holes are moving to the right. So we have a large diffusion current, and the diffusion current will be, because electrons are moving in this direction, the diffusion current is in this direction. Diffusion current is from the P to the N side. Okay. Now, as the electrons cross over from the N side to the P side, they are being injected into a region where they are the minority carriers, because these electrons are actually minority carriers here. So under forward bias, so when you give this as a forward bias, what you're actually doing is the majority carriers are actually crossing over the junction, and these majority carriers from the N side, when they enter into the P side, they are minority here. So this is called a majority carrier, this is called a minority carrier injection, because these electrons are entering a region where they are the minority carriers. Similarly, as electrons move to this side, I told you holes move to this side. Here holes are the majority carriers, but as they enter into the N region, holes are the minority carrier. And so under forward bias, when diffusion current is flowing across the junction, we have this what is called as the minority carrier injection, which means the electrons are being injected into a region where they are the minority, and holes are being injected into a region where they are the minority. So it is called minority carrier injection. So we have the graph here, and the actual in the lab, when you do this, you need to draw a graph. You will need to measure the voltage and you will need to measure the current, right? So your PN junction here connected to an external supply, P2 positive and N2 negative. To measure the current in series, we need a milliammeter. To measure the voltage across the junction, we connect a voltmeter in parallel to the PN, to this junction. So this is V, then this is the N, and this is a P. This is positive, so this is a positive terminal, this is a negative terminal. Similarly, here this is negative, so this will be the negative and this will be the positive. So we have a milliammeter to measure the current, a voltmeter to measure the voltage, and this will be the forward bias characteristic. The VI graph is called the characteristic of the diode, and this is the forward biasing characteristic. So we discussed that under forward bias, what are we doing? We are connecting the positive of the supply voltage to the P type and the negative to the N type. When you do that, the net potential across the barrier becomes V0 minus V, because your potential barrier is in this direction from from N to P, but your applied voltage is in this direction. So since both are in the opposite direction, we have V0 minus V, so that the potential across the junction decreases, and when the potential across the junction decreases, you favor the movement of majority carriers across the junction. And that is why, as majority carriers cross the junction, we have what is called as the diffusion current, and at around 0.7 volt, that is when these two are the same, you will see there is a large number of electrons crossing over from N to P side, and holes crossing over from P to N side, causing a large diffusion current, and the voltage at which this happens is called the threshold or the knee voltage. And you see this is called the characteristic, forward biasing characteristic. I also discussed about the minority carrier injection in this. Now we go on to discuss the reverse biasing of a semiconductor diode. In the reverse biasing, we have, this is reverse bias. We just do the opposite. Okay. In reverse biasing, what's happening is, we have, let me draw the symbol. This is the N type, this is the P side. Okay. We connect the P to the negative terminal and the N to the positive terminal, so that you know that the potential barrier is always from N to P, because I hope you remember that in your semiconductor diode, if this is N and this is P, here is where we have the positive ions and here is where we have the negative ions. So your electric field is in this direction, potential is, this is higher potential, this is the lower potential. Okay, so that's the potential barrier we are talking about, from N to P. But your applied voltage is also in the same direction, positive to negative. So you see, both of them being in the same direction, the net potential across the barrier becomes V0 plus V. That means your potential barrier, the depletion region, is becoming wider. It is becoming larger, wider, and therefore the potential across the junction increases. And at high electric field, you know that I've already told you, when there is a high electric field, it favors the movement of minority carriers across the junction. That is the drift current. Okay. So here what happens here is, you have the PN junction. Okay. We have the PN junction here, the diode, and this is N, and you have connected it this way, P to negative and N to positive. And we have the positive immobile ions like this, the depletion region. Okay, so your potential barrier is in this direction, positive to negative. Applied voltage also in this direction. The two are in the same direction. So I said that the potential across the junction becomes, this depletion region becomes larger. Now so we have an electric field in this direction. So if electric field is in this direction, electron movement is always opposite to the electric field. So on the P side, we have minority carrier, that is electrons, and on the N side, we have minority carrier, that is holes. So such an electric field will now pull the electrons to the from the P side to the N side. So you will see that this electric field is favorable to the crossing over of minority carriers, and therefore we have a drift current. And the drift current, because electrons are moving in this direction, holes will be moving in this direction, and the drift current will be in this direction. Okay, reverse direction. I told you, in the forward biasing, we have electrons moving, the majority carriers, electrons are moving in this direction, holes were moving from P to N. So we had diffusion current from P to N. Diffusion current is from P to N. So we drew this here. Now under reverse biasing, we have electrons moving here. So that means holes are moving to the left. So drift current is in this direction. That is from N to P. So it's a reverse current. So it's going to appear in the negative axis here. In this, we have changed the voltage also. The terminals of the battery has been changed. So we have this graph appearing in the third quadrant. Now this movement of minority carriers will cause a small current called the drift current. This drift current is very small because it is due to minority carriers. Minority carriers are very small in number. So naturally the current due to these minority carriers also will be small. So we have a very small minority carrier current called the drift current, which you will see is a constant. Even when you increase the voltage, it will remain a constant. It is independent of the voltage applied, because however much you may apply the voltage or increase the voltage, the current is only due to minority carriers which are small in number. So there is no point. In this case, it is due to majority carriers. So as you increase the voltage, a large number of majority carriers are available, and so you have a large current. But in this case, you will see, even if you increase the voltage to a large value, you will see that the current does not increase appreciably because it is due to minority carrier, and the number of minority carriers are small in the semiconductor. But you will finally reach a particular voltage called as the breakdown voltage, VBR, called the breakdown voltage, where you will see that even a small change or increase in voltage will give you a very large increase in current. This current here, this small current here, is measured in microamperes because it is due to minority carriers. But here you will see at breakdown voltage, you will have a large number of current, and this is because of the breakdown of covalent bonds. See, you have free electrons in the semiconductor, and when you increase the voltage, there is a large electric field, because of which all these free electrons get large amount of energy, kinetic energy, and they go and collide with the electrons which are bound in the valence band. And because of this collision, you will suddenly see that covalent bonds are broken and all those electrons become free, and thus creating a very large current in the across the junction. This current is happening at breakdown voltage, and this is called the avalanche breakdown, simply because as you increase the applied voltage, most of the free electrons get high energy, kinetic energy, and because they go and collide with the electrons in the valence band, in the bonding, the bonds are broken, and suddenly you have a large avalanche of electrons or charge carriers, causing this large current in the circuit. Now this current, which is due to the minority carriers, is what you call as the reverse saturation current. Reverse saturation current. So we have the threshold on E voltage in forward biasing, reverse saturation, the breakdown voltage in reverse bias, and reverse saturation current is the small current because of the minority carriers. Now if you look at this characteristic, this is a forward characteristic, this is a reverse characteristic, that is a VI graph of a semiconductor diode under forward biasing and reverse biasing. You will see that this is a non-ohmic device. Like we learned in current electricity, semiconductors are non-ohmic devices because the VI graph is not a straight line. So you will see that it does not obey Ohm's law. You can't have a curve like this. Ohm's law says the VI graph should be a straight line whose slope gives you the resistance of the material. Now here in forward bias, you will see there is a large current across the junction. So the resistance across the junction is low. Whereas in reverse biasing, you will see that the reverse saturation current this is actually breakdown, meaning avalanche because of the breakdown of covalent bonds. This current here, reverse saturation current, is a very small current, which means that the resistance across the junction under reverse biasing is very high. We define something called as the dynamic resistance in diodes. Dynamic resistance RD, given by delta V by delta I. Actually V by I, by delta V by delta I, where because this resistance is not a constant, you find this is delta I and this is delta V. Delta V by delta I will give you the dynamic resistance of the junction diode. So this is what we discussed under reverse biasing, and in reverse biasing the The circuit that you need to know from the textbook is you have your semiconductor diode with a PN junction. This is P type connected to the negative of the supply. The N side connected to the positive of the supply. To measure the current, we have a, this is V. To measure the current, we have a microammeter because the reverse saturation current is due to minority carriers. Very small current in microamperes. And to measure the voltage here, we have in parallel, we have a voltmeter. And because this is a negative terminal, we have negative here, positive, and positive here and negative here. So this circuit diagram you need to know to draw the, before you draw the characteristic, the forward characteristic and the reverse characteristic of a semiconductor diode. Thank you.